The final fight between Black Star and Mifune, the fight that we didn't see in the Soul Eater anime, is finally here for you to see. An epic standoff between two warriors and a Black Star who has matured and is no longer the same kid that we've seen before. Mifune then gazes upon Black Star and witnesses this change, awaiting his next move. Black Star then responds to this exchange between warriors. Tsubaki, Soul Resonance. As both warriors prepare for battle, they have a dialogue. Mifune, I finally understand your strength. I see you have the face of a warrior now. For me to pull punches with you any longer would be disrespectful. Very well. This time, I'll fight you seriously. This is our third fight. Yes, and there won't be another. The soul resonance between Tsubaki and Black Star continues, as we see these dark shadows beginning to caress Black Star's blade, turning his sword into a brand new weapon. Shadow Star, First Form, Chain of Blackness. With this newfound strength, Black Star then rushes Mifune. Mifune maintains composure as Black Star charges him, hurling his newfound weapon directly at him. Mifune parries, just in time. Black Star then continues his onslaught, leaping into the air, and applies more pressure onto his opponent. Mifune, still standing strong, hasn't moved at all since this fight has started. Black Star, witnessing this, then begins to close the gap between the two. Not just in space, but in power as well. The two warriors meet face to face, dead set on taking each other's lives. Their blades clash with a thunderous clang. Both warriors have only scratched each other, and this scratch will be the start of the blood that has yet been spilled. The same Mifune that has just been scratched finally processed the newfound ability that Black Star has developed. And Mifune then responds to Black Star with his own, the infinite one-sword style. Mifune suddenly shoots swords into the air, and they begin to rain down like lightning. Mifune's bloodlust begins to fill the air, and Black Star readies his weapon. Here I come. Mifune uses his surroundings to his advantage and knocks 4 swords that are around him into the air, aggressively attempting to slash down on Black Star. With such a display of brute strength, he begins to restrain Black Star's weapon. As Mifune's motions begin to proceed, we can see just how cold and calculated his combat style really is, as one of the 4 swords that he knocked into the air earlier lands perfectly into his hand, giving him an opportunity to strike Black Star cleanly. Black Star recognizes this pressure and wards off Mifune's blade with his soul wavelength. But unfortunately, Mifune calculated much further than Black Star had anticipated. The rest of the swords begin to launch down directly in front of Black Star. Mifune predicted these movements and laid out a trap for him. With these blades suddenly laid out in front of Black Star, Mifune bangs them so hard that they flip up and slash at him. Black Star, barely dodging, is grazed. Vertical lineup. The same 3 swords that Mifune hit are now floating in front of him. He hits one sword and it beams towards Black Star. Black Star parries it. He hits a second one, then a third. Black Star narrowly dodges, but it seems as though he didn't make it out unscathed. Tsubaki calls him, and Black Star tells her that he's alright. You have a good eye. You dodge the attacks within a paper's width on either side. However, I wonder how long you can hold out. Black Star recognizes that he can't compete with Mifune's attacks with his current weapon, so he decides to change to a weapon that better suits the current circumstances lined up against him. As he digs through the shadows, he tears out a new weapon, Shadow Star, Third Form, Severed Shadow. And in the blink of an eye, he disappears, darting around Mifune. But despite this, Mifune is unwavered. You're fast. but I think you're a little too confident in your speed. Mifune slashes Black Star's arm off. That's what you get for coming at me head on. But little did he know was that Black Star was actually right behind him. Mifune, shocked by this performance, puts an end to it by slashing down Black Star yet again. But in doing so, Mifune leaves the side of his body wide open, and Black Star takes full advantage of it, finally landing a solid hit on Mifune, and disappears again. Mifune thinks back to what just happened. But I felt resistance when I cut through it. This is no ordinary after image. Tsubaki then explains, it's called Severed Shadow, the ability to move so fast that you break free from your own shadow. The severed shadows left behind by the process actually retains some traces of real matter. So if you're still thinking of Black Star as a single opponent, I'm afraid you're in for a world of hurt. So it turns out that Black Star is moving so fast that he is leaving matter behind, and that same matter can be used as an offensive or evasive option. Mifune then begins to find a pattern in Black Star's movements and eventually catches him, kneeing him in the face, confirming that this is the real Black Star. Or is it really? Another Black Star suddenly appears behind Mifune and kicks his head down, staggering Mifune. While Mifune is then confused, the real Black Star runs up to him and attacks him with his Soul Wavelength, Soul Menace, World Destruction Cannon. And it turns out this wasn't just some leftover matter. This was another Black Star, Shadow Star, 4th form, Branched Darkness. After the sudden attack against Mifune, Black Star decides to go back to his severed shadowed form. Mifune immediately sees this and decides he must go back on the offensive. Infinite one-sword style, jumbled lineup. With the activation of this ability, multiple swords begin to fly around Mifune, and the two combatants are locked in each other's sights. Mifune uses jumbled lineup and proceeds to shoot a sword towards Black Star, and he manages to dodge it. But within due time, Mifune closes in on him, and as he begins to strike Black Star, he hits 3 swords that are flying around him as well. Then all 4 of the swords begin to rain down on him, knocking Black Star into Baba Yaga's castle. After crashing down into the ground, it seems like Black Star can't get a single break as 4 more swords begin to fire directly at him. And luckily, he manages to dodge them. Mifune, not letting up the pressure, proceeds to land directly in front of Black Star and throws his sword into the swords that missed Black Star. And all the swords that Mifune threw at Black Star begin to fly straight at him. And it seems as though thanks to his ability Severed Star, he manages to survive. Mifune is not giving him a break, immediately leaping towards him and swinging his sword to make a finishing blow. But Black Star manages to see this coming and retaliates with a kick to the jaw. Mifune, seemingly unfazed by this, clangs one of his swords into the other sword that is in his hand and sends one of the katanas flying directly at Black Star, getting a direct hit. But as you can see, that was merely just a severed shadow decoy. As Mifune realizes this, he uses one katana in hand and manages to juggle every single sword around him, keeping every single katana that he is previously using in the air, ready for another attack. He keeps using jumbled lineup. We can't get near him. Black Star, why are you still doubting yourself? I threw away any doubts I had a long time ago. Tsubaki, Shadow Star, 0th form. As the battle rages on, Black Star begins to use a brand new form. And with this new form, shadows begin to form into his hand. And the ground underneath him begins to rumble. And debris begins to rise into the air. The same shadows that were taking form in his hand begin to turn into a sword. And the shadow that Black Star naturally casts skyrockets into the air. After reaching a ridiculous height, Black Star's shadow begins to dive down, swirling in on its owner, and begins to take a new form around his neck. Shadow Star, Zeroth Form, Masamune. I have no doubts. Walking the path of a warrior means I'm ready to die if it comes to it. I see. Then let me ask you this. Are you also ready to kill if it comes to it? I've said goodbye to everything. Now, if you truly seek to master the way of the warrior, you have to overcome me. That's the idea. As long as you have hesitation in your heart, you will not be able to defeat me. As Mifune's barrages against Black Star continue to rage on, with this new form, it seems as if Black Star is actually able to keep up with all the swords that surround Mifune, as he's able to fend all of them off at once. And what makes Black Star able to do this is because he's using an irregular form of Wakigamae. And with this irregular form, he's able to react to attacks from all angles and directions. And the most impressive thing about this stance is the fact that Black Star didn't even think about doing it, he just adopted it because he thought it felt right. And that should say a lot about Black Star's skills in itself. His attacks are fluid and constantly shifting in style and direction, allowing him to slip in and out of Mifune's blind spots and strike every chance he gets. And with this next strike, Black Star plans to take Mifune down. The moment Mifune guards against Black Star's attack, Black Star's shadow scarf reaches over him and flies down like a guillotine, taking out his right shoulder. And after this attack, we begin to see the true ability of Zeroth Form Masamune. With Zeroth Form, Black Star is granted more evasive options and offensive options as well. Right after cutting down Mifune's right shoulder, he uses the Scarf of Zeroth Form to shoot across him. And as he shoots across him, he begins to cut down his shoulder yet again, attempting to cut his arm off. Even if I wind up getting cut in the process, I have to target his landing! And just like that, Mifune impales Black Star with one of his katanas. Black Star, realizing this, immediately rips it out. Mifune lunges at Black Star, but misses his attack. As Black Star dodges, he begins to lose lots of blood. Mifune immediately closes the distance between the two, throwing a katana straight at Black Star, trying to impale him yet again. While Black Star deflects this same katana, Mifune is already prepared for his next attack. And with Black Star wide open right after deflecting his sword, this attack will be meant to kill. With no other option left, Black Star blocks Mifune's blade with the bottom of his heel. Despite being in pain, he still retaliates. And despite the injury he just received, he still maintains a strong stance. Both warriors are now face to face, colliding. Mifune, with the intent to kill and inevitably finish the job, breaks Black Star's fingers, snapping them both in half. Black Star immediately tries to get distance in between the two, using the scarf from his Zeroth form to defend against Mifune. He pushes Mifune away, and it seems as if he has a moment to breathe. Fight! I've chosen to accept you as a fellow warrior, and have prepared myself for whatever may happen here. You're not the only one who's ready to face death at any point on his warrior's path. Or are you refusing to accept me as a warrior? Now come, let's finish this. Tsubaki, adjust our soul resonance level so that you're the weight of a normal katana. You can do that, right? I want to fight Mifune on equal terms. Thanks for everything, Tsubaki. Black Star and Mifune are now fighting on equal terms. Man to man, warrior to warrior. Both of their blades begin to clash, and Mifune strikes at Black Star's face. And in due time, Black Star returns the favor. I will master the way of the warrior. I will be a warrior god! Well done. Angela, forgive me. Maybe you could help me get closer to the castle. Just a little bit closer.